Welcome to Report Connection with Tommy. This video is on your SmackDown spoilers for this week. Welcome to the Report Connection with Tommy. Art Barr, he was born October 8, 1966, died November 23rd, 1994. Barr worked as the juicer in WCW, but did his best work as the Love Machine in Mexico, where he and Eddie Guerrero teamed as the Los Gringos Locos. Former WWE wrestler Paul Burchill, aka Paul Burchill, turned 35 years old. He was born October the 8th, 1979. Burchill showed a lot of potential before he was saddled with an awful pirate gimmick in WWE. He now works as a firefighter. The Miz turned 34 years old. Former WWE Tough Enough winner Daniel Peter turned 33 years old, while ECW original CB Richard turned 43, and former WWE Women's Champion Rockin' Robin turned 50. Also would have been the 47th birthday of WWE Hall of Famer Eddie Guerrero. As noted, Homicide Hernandez and Shelly Martinez will be reuniting as the LAX on November 29th for the Big Wrestlecade event in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. They have been announced in a match with indie stars Bravado Brothers. Chris Jericho revealed on Instagram that Nunzio's Kitchen Pizza Shop in Sayreville, New Jersey has officially donned Fozzie Pizza. It's the number 99 on the menu, as Jericho called it the best pizza in America. Good old JR's latest Ross Report podcast includes an interview with Ed Ferreira, who wrote WWE television along with Vince Russo in the Attitude Era, and also wrote for WCW and TNA. Ferreira also spoofed Ross with the awful Oklahoma character, though obviously they are on better terms these days. Ross on Steve Austin's return rumors. Bottom line is that Steve was talking to a man who used to train with Arnold back in the day at the Gold's Gym in Venice, and Steve said he was training to prepare to return to Gold's Gym to train. They were talking about training only, not wrestling, and how working out at Gold's Gym in Venice wasn't for everyone. When the fans heard Austin say that he was training for a comeback, they just automatically assumed that he meant to the ring, which in turn means WrestleMania 31. Ross did an ad that Austin always keeps an open mind on returning to the ring. My guess remains that if we don't see him back in the ring before WrestleMania 32, which is expected to be held in Texas, then I don't believe he will work another match. Ross had a lot more to say about his topic, or about this topic. As always, we always run the highlights of the blog, so be sure to use the link at the top of the page, JR's Barbecue, as well, to read it in full. Ross talks about The Rock. Ambrose says it relates to the regulars. Stole the show, but the surprising return cameo on The Rock stole the show from Raw. It was well known that The Rock was going to be in New York City, and it did not shock me that he made the Raw appearance, because he genuinely loves performing in front of a live audience. Rock wrote on Twitter that he was in New York City, but he did not drop any hints until he let the cat out of the bag moments before he made his entrance. New York City is a big place where there are plenty of things that a guy in Rock's position could be going on and doing some business. So it was pleasantly surprised when Rock's music hit, for at least when we read his tweet, despite the fact that he was in the Big Apple. Based on the reaction, I suspect most fans were also surprised, as well as myself. Ross comments on the WWE Hell in a Cell. I haven't gotten interested in the Hell in a Cell just yet. That's later this month in Dallas, but I'm sure that I will watch it on the WWE Network. It's always interesting to see how a PG Hell in a Cell can be produced without blood of some sort. As a dramatic, still encased backdrop, almost seems to cry out for that special effect, or I'm just very old school. I'm with Ross when it comes to WWE failing to get me excited about the pay-per-view thus far. There are only 2 more Raws to go before the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, so plenty of work is left to be done. I've pretty much given up on the intentional bloodletting in WWE rings, so at this point, I'll just be pleased if they don't damage the Hell in a Cell gimmick as they did last year with all the interferences. Speaking of Stone Cold, Steve Austin's new family-friendly show features Austin discussing John Cena, TNA talent, watermelon moonshine, and more. Austin's Uncensored podcast has Austin doing the podcast from a car with his friend Chris Collins. The latest Talk is Jericho podcast, hosted by Chris Jericho, features adult film star Asa Akira. The interview is labeled as PG-13 despite the subject matter. Jericho also has Hornswoggle on the show, most recently. Hot Rod, Roddy Piper's latest podcast guest, was TNA standout Ethan Carter III. Bill Goldberg's podcast, Who's Next with Goldberg, has NASCAR driver Mike Gunslinger Skinner. You can find the Ross, Piper, Jericho, Austin, and Goldberg podcast at podcast1.com. Colt Cabana's latest podcast can be found at tsmradio.com/Colt Cabana. His latest guest was Cliff Compton, who formerly worked at Domino in the tag team of Deuce and Domino. Hall of Famer Superstar Billy Graham has been hospitalized again, according to his wife, Valerie, on Facebook, as she wrote. Just as a message from Superstar's wife, Valerie, Billy has been admitted to the Mayo Clinic from complications from his previous medical conditions. Not much specific info is known at this time, but the post will be updated soon. Please keep him in your prayers and thoughts. Kofi Kingston versus Seth Rollins match will air on this Friday SmackDown, and the match had to be retaped later in the show, the tapings towards the end of the show. Apparently, the finish of both matches was botched some. The second match went a few minutes longer than the first. This may be just for this week's SmackDown, but the Authority's new stooges, Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble, were in Rollins' corner to keep watch out for Dean Ambrose. There were some speculation about Kane being injured after reports from all 3 WWE Live events this past weekend noted he did very little in-the-ring work. Kane appeared to be fine on this week's Raw, and the correspondents on SmackDown did not notice any problem with him. Bo Dallas recently spoke with Jim Barcelone of the Miami Herald, and here are the highlights of his interview, which you can also be found on YouTube. Comments about working in NXT. NXT today is a developmental system. Unlike anything that has ever been done before, it's a great platform for some to grow. I had the opportunity to do that and live through it. I wouldn't be the same performer if I didn't get the chance to go down to NXT and perform in front of a live crowd like that. It really helped me hone my craft and character, unlike I ever thought possible. Now, comments on not resting on his lineage. Obviously, you have the big shoes to fill, and having people wondering if you will ever compare up to your family members. I got into the business to make it as myself. However, or whatever that was, I don't think you look at me and say, wow, he took a lot from his father or grandfather or uncles. I think I'm a completely different entity. I think I do a good job distancing myself from that. Then he comments on a streak ending by R-Truth on Raw. Yeah, his undefeated streak was great. But you are forever changing to keep yourself relevant and driven. No matter what happens, you're going to come out okay. You never know what the character is going to do. I never knew I was going to get to this point. If I could say anything, I have my eyes on the Intercontinental Championship. So whoever is holding it at that point, that is where I'm going now. Bret the Hitman Hart, Shawn Michaels, Randy Macho Man Savage. The Intercontinental title needs to be put on that pedestal It was when I was growing up. Hopefully I can strive to do that one day. WWE's latest 5 things video looks at strange but true rules we never knew existed. And you go to that link for that. Wrestling Observer newsletter that TNA's had reached out to CM Punk through an intermediary and made a major offer for him to come to the company. For what it's worth, PW Insider reported that TNA sources spoke to say that there is no truth to the report on Punk. One commented no offer was made officially or by an intermediary. No truth to that matter. They also confirmed that the report from a Reddit user earlier this week that while Punk was in attendance for the Ohio Valley Wrestling Show over the weekend, thus Ohio Valley is training TNA talent, he was never in the locker room as he only arrived earlier in the day and went straight to the OVW owner's office. And that owner is Danny Davis. WWE Hall of Famer Superstar Billy Graham update has just been released from the hospital. He's returning home after complaining of stomach problems. Another Hall of Famer, Bob Backlund's autobiography has been pushed back for another 6th time. It was set to come out on October 28th, but is now scheduled for release for March 29th, 2015. Joey Styles' WWE Warehouse show has now been moved to the WWE Network, formerly on YouTube. WWE Intercontinental Champion Dolph Ziggler updates. He indicated on Wednesday that United Airlines still has not returned his luggage, including his title belt. Dolph tweeted the following. Update, still no bag or contact from the airlines. Bought new clothes and supplies just to go to work. Lose my number, United? Hashtag pray for Dolph's bag. As noted, Steve Austin is part of Wendy's new barbecue advertising campaign with actors Alfonso Ribeiro and Ralph Macchio. You know the first Karate Kid. Austin is sharing barbecue tips on Wendy's Twitter campaign this month. Below, there's a there was a tweet from Take One hashtag Barbecue America tweetathon tip from barbecue guru at Steve Austin BSR. Why? Because he said so. At Steve Austin BSR shares another tip with us because with great barbecue wisdom comes great responsibility. Hashtag Barbecue for America. Kofi Kingston recently spoke with the Independent. Below are some highlights. The following are the highlights. NXT comments on NXT champion Adrian Neville. Some of the things he does are just incredible. He calls himself the man the gravity forgot. He just defies gravity with everything he does. For me, as a fan, I think he's going to be one of the greatest of all time. When he gets it all going, as a performer, I would love to get in the ring with him and mix it up. I think our styles would mesh well and produce a great product and great match for the people watching. He comments on his new stable with Big E and Xavier Woods. I'm always trying to climb the ladder. And right now, myself, Big E, and Xavier are trying to get a team off the ground. We have been having a lot of matches on live events. And we're trying to get something going. If and when it does take place, it should be very entertaining. And something people can get behind. As of now, we're just 3 smart, athletic friends hanging out and having a good time. As a matter of fact, when we come to the UK, I'll be teaming with Big E and Xavier. We will be there too, and we'll also be taking on the Wyatt family. It's awesome. I'll tell everyone that the UK is one of my favorite places to go. Comments on wanting the WWE World Heavyweight title? That's what everyone always strives for. Myself, I always tell people that if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. And every day I try and get better and better than yesterday. Ultimate goal in mind is being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. That's why you always strive for it. What you always strive for. And if you don't believe that, then I guess you better be finding another job. It shouldn't be in WWE. WWE main event kicks off from the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia as Michael Coleslaw welcomes us and is joined by Byron Saxon, who I understand is now was dating Summer Rae. WWE Intercontinental title match, Bo Dallas versus Dolph Ziggler. Go right to the ring to Eden Styles. She introduces the Intercontinental Champion, Dolph Ziggler, to a big pop. Cesaro's already on commentary. Bo Dallas is out next to some heat. Bo cuts a promo on the way to the ring. He says he threw away a Philly cheesecake earlier and Mark Henry ate it out of the trash. They lock up and break the hold, and they go at it again, and Ziggler takes Bo down with a headlock. Bo ends up taking control, and fans boo him. Bo with a 2 count. Bo ends up dumping Ziggler on his head outside the ring, and we go to commercial. Back from the break, Bo is still in control. Bo drops the knees and covers for a 2 count. Ziggler gets a shot in, and they both go down, and the referee counts. Ziggler makes a comeback. Ziggler gets a splash in the corner and a neck breaker. Bo blocks a famouser and drops Ziggler for a 2 count. Ziggler counters with a backdrop. Ziggler nails a big DDT for a 2 count. Bo blocks a super kick and drops Ziggler with a DDT for himself for a 2 count. We get some back and forth action as Bo gets a close 2 count after heading to the rope. Holding the ropes, that is. Bo argues with the referee, allowing Ziggler to hit the zigzag for the win. Get a look back at Adam Rose, Kathy Lee Gifford, and Hoda on Raw. They come back from the break, and Tyson Kidd approaches Kane backstage. He says he's his own man and more than just Natalia's husband. That's a fact. Kane laughs and says everyone knows Natalya wears the pants. Kidd wants a match. Kane says Natalya has requested one for him against Jack Swagger. Kane tells Kidd, try not and tap out to Swagger like he does Natalya. We get Brie Bella versus Nikki Bella, Cameron, Layla, and Summer Rae. We go to the ring. Out first comes Nikki. Brie Bella was out next. Layla, Summer Rae, and Cameron were also waiting. Summer starts off with Brie and they go at it. Layla comes in and works over Brie, dropping her with a DDT and a 2 count. Layla keeps control and puts a knee to Brie's back. Brie finally turns it around on Cameron and hits the missile drop kick. Brie decks Nikki. Cameron catches Brie with an elbow. Layla also gets involved, allowing Cameron to take over. Summer with a cheap shot. Gets herself in and hits a running knee to the face on Brie. Nikki with a rack attack for the win. We get a look back at Rock. Rusev from Raw. Then we see Jack Swagger and Zeb Coulter walking backstage. Back to commercial. Tyson Kidd versus Jack Swagger. Back for the break. Natalya waits in the ring with Tyson Kidd. Swagger was out next with Zeb. Zeb cut a promo on Kidd being a man. The bell rings and Kidd unloads the start. Back and forth throughout the match. Kidd hits a big shot from the apron and springboards in with a pin out of nowhere for the win. After the match, Kidd celebrates by himself at ringside and leaves Natalya hanging. Then we get highlights from Total Divas and Raw. Then we get Stardust versus Jey Uso. We go to the ring. Out comes WWE Tag Team Champions Stardust and Goldust. Back to commercial. Back from the break. Out comes the Usos. Back and forth to start the match. Stardust takes over. Jey fights back, but Stardust kicks him to the mat and works him over. Stardust tosses Uso across the ring and shows off. Stardust charges, but runs into boots. Uso goes up top and hits crossbody for a 2 count. Uso with chops and a super kick. Uso with a big right hand. Stardust counters a move and hits the drop down right hand, similar to his brother. Uso comes right back with the Samoan drop. Uso with a Rikishi splash in the corner. Uso goes to the top for the big splash, but Stardust shuts him off. Out to the floor, and Jimmy Uso checks on his brother. Uso ends up getting the splash for the win. After the match, the two teams taunt each other as we go to replays, and main event goes off the air with the Usos celebrating. First report for SmackDown. Thanks to Sean Perez, Barry, Carlos Johnson, Robbie, and Allentown, and Greg Scott for the following WWE combo spoilers from tapings in Philadelphia for October the 10th, 2014, showing for SmackDown. Stephanie McMahon starts off the 15th anniversary SmackDown special. She talks about SmackDown's history, but is interrupted by John Laurinaitis. Yeah, you know, that's me, John Laurinaitis. As Laurinaitis says, I created the best era in the history of SmackDown. People power. Teddy Long interrupts and has word with Laurinaitis. They go back and forth and make the biggest tag team match in history. Teddy calls for a 15-man match. 7 superstars and a mini-gator versus 7 superstars and a mini-bull. It will be Team Teddy versus Team Johnny. Later on SmackDown, the winner will be the greatest general manager of all time. Now get this, how can a general manager be the best general manager of all time when it's a tag team match? Stephanie announces The Miz will host a face-off between John Cena and Dean Ambrose tonight. Adam Rose comes out and tells Stephanie not to be a lemon. Rose wishes SmackDown a happy birthday, saying it's party time all the time. He invites Stephanie to the party. She shuts down the Exotic Express and books Rose versus Kane for tonight. Kane comes out and says he's a party pooper tonight. He squashes Rose and with a choke slam. Kane goes after the bunny and he runs away. Kane destroys all the Rosebuds as they try to protect the bunny. AJ Lee versus Alicia Fox was up next. Paige came out with Alicia. AJ wins with the Black Widow. Paige runs in and hits AJ after the match, but AJ fights them off with a double choke clothesline. Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler was up next. Was announced for later. They advertised. Kofi Kingston versus Seth Rollins was up next. This thought to be a good match for SmackDown. Well, Johnny Noble and Joey Mercury came out with Rollins. They're watching out for Dean Ambrose at ringside. Rollins gets the win with a curb stomp. Well, as again, they did this match later on the show as well. Then they aired the Wyatt family victory. Rusev versus Dolph Ziggler was up next. Ziggler fought hard, but Rusev got the non-title win with the accolade. Lana then cut a promo after the match on The Rock. She says he will pay. Rusev challenges Big Show to a match on Raw. Another backstage segment that was taped on from Monday. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon that appeared on Raw or at Raw. Raw teased going at it with Triple H one more time. Booker T comes out. Five time. WCW champion. Team Teddy is Mark Henry, Los Matadors, Sheamus, the Usos, Jack Swagger, and El Torritos. Team Johnny is advertised as Heath Slater, Titus O'Neil, Goldust, Stardust, Bo Dallas, Damien Sandow, The Miz, and Hornswoggle. That's Slater and Sandow began the match. It was said to be an incredible and excellent match with lots of spots. One of the Usos got the pin for Team Teddy. Then they retaped Seth Rollins versus Kofi Kingston, as Mercury and Noble were also at ringside again, and Rollins won again. Miz TV was set up for the face-off between Dean Ambrose and John Cena. Both got big pops for Cena's was bigger. They both complimented each other, but Ambrose cut a better promo. Cena dissed The Miz and said Sandow was better. Cena and Ambrose attacked The Miz to shut him up. Ambrose hits Dirty Deeds on The Miz, but Cena hits Ambrose with an attitude adjustment to end the segment. Dark match main event after SmackDown said that Cena and Ambrose defeated Kane and Seth Rollins. Ambrose was upset at Cena for beginning the match, but got a hot tag and unloaded on the heels as Cena and Ambrose hit their finishers for the win. After the match, they played to the crowd to see who could get the bigger pop, as Ambrose won. And the second results for the taping that was posted. Prior to the taping, Paul Heyman made an unadvertised appearance and drew mega heat. It's a little bit different from the first one. JBL was introduced to a mild pop, followed by Lillian Garcia. She welcomed Philly to SmackDown 15 and pumped the crowd up for the opening. The signature aired, followed by the classic clips of SmackDown through the years. Notable was the focus on Kurt Angle and Jeff Hardy throughout the highlights. SmackDown has a new opening theme that will take some getting used to as Lillian introduced SmackDown's first GM, Stephanie McMahon. Stephanie plugged the WWE Network by pointing out that The Rock coined the phrase SmackDown and noted that her husband Triple H had beaten The Rock. She led the crowd in a brief 999 chant. Stephanie was then interrupted by John Laurinaitis, who got the people power chant. He also pimped the network. Out next was Teddy Long, who got a pretty big pop. Teddy and Johnny got into a back and forth over their storyline heat from back in the day. They actually got into an argument over the booking of Teddy's favorite match, the tag match. The result was Teddy actually bringing to book a 15-man tag match, which was pretty damn funny. Stephanie suggested that Teddy and Johnny each pick a team, and whoever's team would win would result in the man being declared as the greatest GM of all time. Stephanie said that The Miz will host face with John Cena and Dean Ambrose as Ambrose hits with Adam Rose and his crew, including the Bunny, interrupted and actually got a pretty loud pop. Rose told Stephanie not to be a lemon, and she promptly booked him against Kane as punishment. During the commercial break, we get a clip from the first SmackDown featuring The Rock versus Triple H with HBK as a special referee, and then they plugged the network. Back from the break, Rose did the trust fall. Kane headed to the ring, cutting a promo saying that he's not a cheeseburger, a lemon, or a rosebud. He is, however, a party pooper. Kane defeated Adam Rose as he squashed Rose in under a minute with a chokeslam. The Rosebud tended to Rose as Kane destroyed all the Rosebuds with the exception of the Bunny, which would have popped the hell out of me. The reporter, that is. The next SmackDown clip was Cena's debut against Kurt Angle. AJ Lee then defeated Alicia Fox with Paige. There were brief CM Punk chants that died quickly. Fox was in control once again with the Punk chants picked up with AJ. Chant mix in for some good measure. AJ went over with the Black Widow, but before Lillian could finish her announcement, Paige then attacked Lee, and AJ fought off Paige and Fox to end the segment. Seth Rollins with Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble beat Kofi Kingston. Well, the first taping of the match, Rollins got a mild "You Sold Out" chant before the match. Slated. Rollins started the match aggressively and was beating the hell out of Kofi, which made a comeback and cut it off with a neck breaker. Rollins played to the crowd and drew some damn good heat. Kofi came back and went on with a nice run before getting shut down with a buckle bomb, followed by the curb stomp. Bray Wyatt Luke Harper promo aired. The visual of the darkened arena that is lit by only cell phones is one of the coolest visuals in pro wrestling history. Out next comes Dolph Ziggler, followed by Rusev and Lana. The next SmackDown moment was a collection of Money in the Bank cash-ins over the years. Footage of the Rusev confrontation from Raw aired. Rusev with Lana defeated Dolph Ziggler in a non-title match. The match started with Ziggler dodging Rusev until he got caught, which got a brief USA chant. Rusev controlled the match. Much of the match was Ziggler bumping his ass off, as usual, to make Rusev look like a beast. The crowd fired up a USA chant again, but they once again don't pick up steam in a small "Let's Go Ziggler" chant. Got started and drowned by the USA chant. After several minutes of Rusev's offense, Ziggler woke up the crowd with some flashy offense, but it was not enough, as he was crushed and forced to submit with the accolade. Afterwards, Lana cut a promo trashing Philly and The Rock. Rusev said Rock will pay, as well as Big Chuck. The challenge show to a match on Raw. As Russian flag dropped, and that ended the segment. This promo drew amazing heat from the live crowd. See how they pump it up for SmackDown. Next SmackDown moment was favorite of all time, Stone Cold beating the hell out of Booker T in a supermarket. Lillian put over Philly chapter of Susan G. Komen, and brief video aired. As the Philadelphia Eagle players got some camera love to a nice pop. Didn't say who they were. Backstage segment aired with The Rock, Triple H, Stephanie reminiscing about their SmackDown history throughout the years. Rock teased him and Triple H going at it one more time, and the crowd popped huge. Of course, this was taped from Monday from the Raw arena. Things started to get a little tense between the two as they teased a future WrestleMania match. Stephanie stepped in and called both guys winners and suggested they go get something to eat. This segment is funny as hell and must be much watched on Friday Night SmackDown. Lillian then introduced another former SmackDown GM in Booker T, who got an initial loud pop that died real quick. Booker was on commentary for the next match. Team Teddy, Sheamus, Mark Henry, the Usos, Los Matadors, El Torito, and Jack Swagger beat Team Johnny of Goldust, Stardust, Heath Slater, Titus O'Neil, and Damien Mizdow. Bo Dallas, Cesaro, Hornswoggle, and the silliest ass Gator outfit. It didn't take long for things to break down as the heels regrouped outside, on the outside. Small but pretty vocal sexual chocolate chant was heard throughout the match. Everybody got a chance to shine. But the most notable thing about this match was how over Mizdow was, which I hope WWE takes notice of because the guy is being criminally wasted. After several minutes of pretty forgettable action, Sheamus was tagged into a huge pop and went on a tear that included hitting his trademark 10 clubs on Cesaro, Stardust, and Heath Slater at the same time. Usos hit dives on the heels, which popped the crowd. Cesaro, after months of non-use, broke out the Cesaro swing, which the crowd ate up, into the end of where the Usos took out Mizdow with a super kick splash combo, giving Team Teddy the win. Bray Wyatt and Eric Rowan promo aired. Next SmackDown moment was Stone Cold destroying the DX Express. In what was most likely a dark segment, Team Teddy was still in the ring. Teddy's theme played as he did his trademark dance. Booker T entered the ring and pumped the crowd, asking if they wanted to see the 15th annual spin-a-running from each member of Team Teddy. First up was Mark Henry, followed by the Usos. Next was Los Matadors and Torito, Sheamus, and even Swagger. Teddy even did one, which was pretty bad. Sheamus pointed out that the announced team should also do spin-a-roonies. So we got one from JBL, and then Booker T finishes off with the real one. This was entertaining but a bit long. Royal Rumble is confirmed for Philly on January 25th. Kofi Kingston came out and demanded another match with Seth Rollins. Rollins came out with Mercury and Noble for the match. Seth Rollins with Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. We'll call them the Double J team. As Seth defeated Kofi Kingston again with a similar finish. Rollins dominated the match for the most part. Kofi made a comeback, but wasn't enough of the match. Ended the same way earlier with a curb stomp. My guess is that it was a retake and a slight botch from the finish from the earlier match. Miz TV saw John Cena and Dean Ambrose. Well, that was up next. Miz introduced to a little reaction. The next SmackDown moment was the 9/11 tribute show. Miz started things off with the segment putting himself over, followed by the covering what happened between Cena and Ambrose from Raw. Miz said that the match between Ambrose and Cena in Hell in a Cell will now be a no-holds-barred contract on a pole match. Whoever gets the contract gets Rollins in a Hell in a Cell. When the hell did WWE put Vince Russo back on payroll? Miz introduced Ambrose and Cena. Ambrose got a nice pop and Cena got the usual mixed reaction. Miz pointed out that Ambrose embarrassed Cena on Monday. Ambrose said that he wanted to show Cena that he takes crap from no one and that Hell in a Cell Rollins belongs to him. Miz gave Cena the chance for a rebuttal. Cena went into hyper mode and actually got a damn loud pop from the crowd. After the little sucking up, of course, he puts over Ambrose as a guy who speaks his mind. Cena pulled out 2 baseballs and said those are what it takes to make it in WWE. He then proceeded to bury Miz for having no balls. Cena went into preacher mode, putting over Ambrose in their match at Hell in a Cell. Miz stirred the pot up by pointing out all of Cena's accolades to Ambrose, was asking him if he thinks that he can beat him. Ambrose responded to, "Yup, funny." Miz attempted to do the same deal to Cena, but Cena cut him off and basically told Miz that Mizdow is better than him, which led to Sandow getting another big pop. The segment ended with Cena and Ambrose beating the hell out of Miz. Cena gave Ambrose his receipt from Monday by hitting him with the Attitude Adjustment to conclude the SmackDown taping. Thanks again for watching my show. And if you didn't know, you better call me, bro. Peace out. God bless. See you where I want to be. Shit. I got to go.